Howdy YouTube, my name's Ethanra, and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. So I have a fun topic I want to talk to you all about. Before I get too into it, I'm going to take us over to Union's Cross. The literal only bright side to Union's Cross now is that they change up the bosses daily. I don't know if that applies to Omega Raid bosses or not, because I have not done the ones for today. But I did do some last night. I did record it, but the recording wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, so I decided not to post it. But I did do them, and they are, interestingly enough, actually tougher than the ones that are out right now, by quite a bit, as a matter of fact. But hopefully that won't be too big of an issue later tonight. So we're going to go in here. You see they're different now as speed types. Gonna go in here with some randoms and hopefully not get completely thumped. So the thing I want to talk to you all about is Smash Bros. I know that's kind of out there, but I promise you it is related. Oh man, I was not expecting him. Anyway, wow. So Smash Bros. Thing I want to talk about that is how much I love that game. I played every single Smash Bros. Game except the first one. The first one I played was Melee with my cousins, and I kid you not, one time my eldest cousin and I went over to my aunt's house to help her, well, our aunt's house, to like help her move in. And while we were doing all that, he brought over his PlayStation 2 and GameCube, and we were playing games on that. And I think he brought over his N64 too for The Legend of Zelda. I think he also had it on the GameCube too. I'm not 100% certain on that, but my point is he brought a lot of games over for us to play. And I was already quite familiar with Smash Bros. From then. So him and I would play that game literally until it wouldn't work anymore. We played the game until we broke it. That was pretty funny. Not funny that we broke it, but funny we played it that much that the game just would not run anymore. But yeah, so eventually I did manage to get Smash Bros. For myself on my own GameCube. My cousins actually gave me theirs. It was a purple one, the original color, if you will. And I got these hybrid GameCube protecting stickers that had the Smash Bros. Characters on it. I still have it, as a matter of fact. So that was pretty neat, because I was all about Smash Bros. When I was growing up. And I remember to this day how much fun I had playing that game, even if I played it by myself. My little sister and I played it too, and we would like make up our own little stories of what was going on, and that was pretty cool for reasons I'll mention later. But we would make up our own little stories about what was going on with the characters and things like that. And this was way before I learned anything about Smash Bros. Being competitive. I'm not even sure if it was competitive way back then, but some of the characters I did play a lot as were Mario. He was like my main. Fox, sometimes Falco, Kirby before I handed him down to my little sister. Some of you probably think that's cruel, but A, again, I didn't know, and B, she really loved Kirby. To this day, that's like her favorite character, so that's pretty neat. She really liked that character. I used to play as Kirby a lot, but then I allowed my sister to... Yeah, I just noticed how doomed we all are. That kind of sucks. Alright, he waited a bit late, though. I don't know why. That's a bit concerning. Yeah, that kind of messed up my story. That's actually kind of a bummer. At any rate, so yeah, I had some characters that I really like to play as, and I remember one of the funnest things I've done was when I went to, what was the mode called? Adventure mode, I think was the one in Melee. I think that was it. It wasn't, I don't know, whatever mode it was, the story mode, if you will. They had you go through various levels and things like that. That was super fun to do. I remember going through there with Fox, and like literally the only reason I did it was just so when I got to the Re-Dead section, I could just shoot them with the gun. Kind of like Smash Bros. Pseudo Resident Evil. So that was pretty funny for me to do. Oh wow, I didn't even use my Nova. I gotta pay attention. But yeah, so I remember doing the event matches, and some of the highlights that I really liked were where you play as Link versus Shadow Link, and Shadow Link was a freaking beast. He was exceptionally hard to kill. I managed to do all of them by myself, by the way. And I think my favorite one was event 50, I believe is the number, where you have to fight Master Hand and Crazy Hand at the same time, because I didn't really know about Crazy Hand, so he was new to me. And it was exceptionally hard fight, man. Like, they beat me so many times. It's kind of like the Lingering Wheel in the sense that I was losing, but I didn't mind losing just because the fight was always so interesting. But like, need to stop saying that. But yeah, like, dang it, Master Hand would like, oh my goodness, Master Hand would slap me across the stage at the same time. Crazy Hand would do that creepy crawling animation and run me over. So they were doing all kind of things like that. Or one of them would smash me into the ground, like literally into the ground, so I could not move. And then another one come along and do the exact same thing. A really funny one though was, I think it was Crazy Hand maybe, that had smashed me into the ground, and Master Hand did that like walking animation on his two fingers to look like a person. He did that to me while I was smashing to the ground, and right as he got up to me, he kicked me in the face, and it knocked me out of the ground. I was playing as Mario, by the way. So they were just doing combos to me like that the entire time. Some of them were incredibly funny like that. So I didn't really mind some of the times that I lost. I eventually did beat them, though. But like I said, that was probably the highlight of the events, was event number 50. And then event 51, I didn't even know it went that high back when I originally did it. I thought I was done at first until I saw event 51. And it was against Giga Bowser. He, in my opinion, was not that hard, even though I still, lost to him. He did not seem as hard as Master Hand and Crazy Hand, because you don't need to divide your concentration. All you really need to do is like learn his attack patterns. I don't know why these people are not being all that helpful. That's really disheartening. At any rate, because I mean, if they making the people who have, and I'm not saying I'm the strongest one here, I honestly don't know. I'm just saying, if you know for a fact your medals aren't that strong, then you should be doing the reviving. But at the same time, the people that aren't doing the reviving don't seem to be doing the attacking. So what's going on here? At any rate, event 51 against Giga Bowser was not that difficult. It was, but it didn't seem as difficult because you didn't need to divide your attention. The only real threat about Giga Bowser was how strong he was, and the fact that essentially all of his attacks had elements to it. Dark, fire, ice, ground, things like that. Oh yeah, electric. I almost forgot he actually had that element too. Yeah, so he had pretty much all the elements in the game he could afflict you with. They were not always that bad. I mean, I believe I also beat him as Mario too. But yeah, so there was that. Then there was a Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Hands down, my favorite incarnation of Smash Bros. Was Brawl. And looks like my time is up, so I'm about to leave. That's perfectly fine, though. I actually don't mind that because they were not being helpful at all, really. They were, like, waiting too long. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't really paying all that attention, but I could tell a story in the past, and that would not happen, so whatever. Just gonna go back in here since I'm still talking, though. But Super Smash Bros. Brawl was probably the closest, second closest me and my sister ever got when we were bonding as we grew up. Like when she was really little, because she was what I like to call a cart magnet. Even though anything with wheels would like try to run her over, whether it was an old lady with a shopping cart or people just driving their cars in general. Somehow, my little sister found her way in front of one of those things. So to prevent that, and because I had a very active imagination when I was a kid, I would pretend that I was like some kind of robot, and my sister would ride on my back, so it's like I was giving her piggyback rides, but I was a robot, so I would take her places she wanted to be and stuff like that. Plus, it kept her, from being run over. So that was pretty funny. And pretty fun, I admit. That was pretty fun. Just knowing I could keep her safe like that. Or when she was really small, obviously, but she would get into like the buggy, not the part where you're supposed to sit, but the part you're supposed to put your groceries in. And I would push her in the buggy like that, and we would pretend it was like a car, just big brother, little sister stuff like that. And as close as we ever came outside of that was with Super Smash Bros. Brawl, where we did a lot of brawling. One of my favorite moments that she remembers to this day was when she was playing as Donkey Kong, and I was, of course, playing as Mario. And I think we were fighting on Final Destination. And my my little sister managed to either shrink me with lightning, that lightning thing, or I picked up a poison mushroom and it shrank me. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I ended up playing as Mario and I was shrunk. And the reason why that is so funny is because you have to remember how Mario is when he's like moving around really in general, the jumping and being on acrobatic. I'm not going to do it because my voice can't handle it, but you know what I'm talking about, how excited Mario gets when he's like jumping around. So just imagine that, but higher pitched. And it was so funny though, because it was like I was a gnat to my little sister while she was playing as Donkey Kong, because she was trying to smash me. And I just had Mario like rolling on the ground, jumping in the air, dodging, making his Mario sounds, high pitched. It was just so freaking funny. Oh, that was funny. I wish I could show you all, but yeah, it went along something like that. Oh, it was funny. And the Subspace Emissary. It's Emissary or Emissary. I forgot what it is exactly. So from this point on, I'm just going to call it Subspace. When me and my sister were playing Subspace for the first time. Actually, let me back up, because she didn't play it around the same time I did at first, because she was not around when I had gotten it. So I got the game and I played the classic mode for myself. And hold on, I gotta gather my thoughts here. I played classic mode for myself, and when I first got it, I didn't know any better. When I plugged in the game, it was in black and white, and I was like, well, this is kind of annoying, but at least I have the game to play. It wasn't until after she showed up, and then a little bit later after that, did I learn that I had plugged in the game wrong. I plugged in the little cables wrong, so I couldn't get color. So that was a little annoying. But getting back on track, before she showed up, I played through the classic mode, where it's just like you go through the levels fighting enemies until you get to Master Hand. I eventually got to him, and I was expecting the traditional Final Fantasy. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Final Fantasy. Final Destination music when you get there, or some kind of remix of it, and I guess you could argue it was remix. I was very surprised when I heard the beat drop, like immediately when I got there, just like boom, and then the choir started singing. So that was really, really awesome. And I didn't tell my sister about it until she heard it for herself, because I hate spoilers. So I wanted her to experience it like I did. But getting back to Subspace, that was very cool playing Subspace. I can see why I don't know his name, I apologize, but the guy who made Smash Bros, why he wanted it to end there, because you could tell he really did, how much effort he put into the story and whatnot. It's very apparent. Me and my sister loved it, because it also kind of like lets you pick your own path, where you pick certain characters, and that kind of affects the story, not to the point where it's like anything major, it just shows one thing going on. I gotcha. That's something else I've been meaning to say for the longest time, but I've always forgot. Ever since I told you my quote-unquote tips, I've always meant to say this, but I've always forgotten. When you're playing something that you know for a fact is going to kill you, kind of like that, if it can be helped, you should. I might actually need to change my chat options even. You should try to get one that lets people know you're about to get knocked down, because there's nothing more annoying than using up your medals, have nothing left, and then you're about to get attacked, and then your entire party goes down as well. So if it can be helped, you should speak up to let them know, hey, I'm about to get knocked out. I need someone to get me up. So she did the right thing there. That was very smart. I've not been doing it because I'm not paying attention, but that is also something you really want to do, especially now. But yeah, so back to Subspace. It was done very well. We enjoyed it a lot. There's so many highlights there that I can't even begin to share with you, so unfortunately, I won't be able to. There's just far too many. But I would have to say the highlight of it all was when me and my little sister went through it. We went through every single mode, beat every single mode, and of course, we eventually went through it to where we went through the entire thing just capturing enemies, like using a little, I don't know what the official name is, but it's like this little trophy stand that you toss like a disc, and if the enemy's on low enough HP, they'll get captured. We went through the entire mode doing that to like all the bosses. So the highlight of it all was going with when we fought Taboo on the highest difficulty, which I think was insane or intense or something like that. It was the highest difficulty, fighting Taboo, and we managed to capture him as a trophy. That was definitely the highlight of all of Subspace. And let me tell you, my sister had the hardest time dodging his shockwave attack. I call it the butterfly effect, because obvious. But she had the hardest time dodging that attack. Even when I taught her how to do it, she still had trouble getting the timing down, especially on the higher difficulties. So whenever it went off, I pretty much knew it's either me versus Taboo, or me versus some character my sister probably doesn't really know how to use. So it became kind of a struggle. But in the end, we did do it, so that was really fun. And then, of course, the Smash Bros. Smash Bros. I think it's just what it's called now. That one is out. So yeah, not as good as Brawl, of course. But and as you can see there, I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was talking about. And I didn't use my Nova, did I? Yeah, sorry. I just hate I can't multitask. Anyway, yeah, so that was my highlight for Brawl. There hasn't really been one in the newest Smash Bros. Just because nothing is really all that great compared to the past ones. I don't have it on the Nintendo Switch or whatever the newest one is. I have it on my I don't even know what that thing is called anymore. The new DS, whatever that thing is called. I have it on that. I don't have it on system. What else? But yeah, the reason why I told you all of that is because that's actually related to something that happened to me last night. And I will try to stall for as long as I can until that point. So with that in mind, I would have to say my favorite character in all of Smash Bros. Like all of them. Oh, that's a hard one. I could make a... Dang it, I forgot to use my Nova again. I could make a list. That would make it a bit easier, but as you can already see, it's quite difficult for me to pay attention. Not gonna mess up this time. But yeah, my favorite character... I don't know, man. It's either something like Mario, Lucario, I know, interesting, or Ike and Little Mac. I think those are my favorites. Actually, with Ike, I kind of liked it better. I liked his appearance better in Smash Bros. Brawl, because in the new one, he looks a bit too bulky to me with all that armor. I liked it better where Ike looked like this, fairly well-built dude, very Terra-esque, huh? Wink, wink, even. Yet he still hit extremely hard. I really like that about him versus his new bulkier appearance. I've never been a fan of the whole bulky characters. That's why when it comes to games in general, I usually play as the really fast or medium built kind of characters. I don't go for like Hulk sized characters. It just doesn't fit me really. So I don't. But yeah, I do like Ike's Smash Bros. Brawl appearance over his Smash Bros. Appearance. Solid Snake was pretty cool. I forgot about them. Solid Snake, Sonic. I kind of hate how they changed some of the supers. Like, I get why Lucario in Smash Bros. Can go Mega Evolving now, which is neat at first, but I prefer his Aura Kamehameha from Brawl. I like that one infinitely more. Who else? For some reason, a lot of the characters have an Omni Slash, which is somewhat annoying when you consider the fact we actually have Cloud now. And Cloud's Omni Slash, from what I've seen, does less damage than Ike's Great Ether. I kind of tested out like once or twice, and that seems to be the case, but I don't know if it depends on the character or whatnot, but I've done both at 0 damage. And Ike's does more than Cloud's. I think both Link and Toon Link's maybe. Triforce Slash also does more than Cloud's Omni Slash, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, especially since he is the progenitor of such attacks. But be that as it may, now that that is over, unfortunately, I don't think I fought the Fortress Crab, but, I mean, trust me, you're not missing anything. It's just the Fortress Crab. So, with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and move on to my next story. So, long story short, my dream that I had was I had a dream that there was a Kingdom Hearts character in Smash Bros. Brawl. That's the dream that I had. And the really cool thing about that was the character was Roxas. Yes, Roxas was in Smash Bros. Brawl in my dream, and it was so cool to have him there. But at the same time, Cena managed to work their way into the cracks of my mind, because even in the game, they did Roxas wrong. Now, let me go and say this again. I'm not saying you're not a true Kingdom Hearts fan if it doesn't bother you. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying if you are a fan, at the very least, you'll look at this and be like, that's kind of annoying. How did they mess that up? Oh well, you would probably move on like that, but not me. This is inexcusable because some people might think it's mirrored and that's why they're in the wrong hands, but it's not. If you look really closely at Roxas's left hand, you see there's the accessories and you see his hair is going like in that tuft in the right direction. So no, he's not mirrored. It's just they somehow managed to get this wrong. I have no idea how they managed to mess that up, but they did. Now with that in mind, in my dream, you could play as casual Roxas or hooded Roxas when he's in his Organization 13 clothes and robed up. They had like customizable colors on him, just like every other character. I played as Roxas with his hood up, and he, of course, had Oblivion and Oathkeeper. He had the right Keyblades in the right hands, but Cena, apparently, even in my dream, messed that up because he was using them both in reverse grip. And that was super annoying. I was like, how did they mess this up? They did everything else so great. But yeah, so with that being said, even in my dream, they messed it up. They got Roxas in Smash Bros., but for some reason, they gave him his Keyblades in reverse grip, something Roxas never did, I think. I don't think he ever had them in reverse grip, period, let alone fought with them like that. But with that being said, that dream did make me think of a new theory that I think would be pretty interesting, and that is, I already told you how and why I believe Roxas and Ventus are indeed the same person. Hopefully a revelation that'll occur in Kingdom Hearts 3, if not somewhere down the line. You would think it would all be wrapped up in Kingdom Hearts 3, just because, you know, trilogy as well as the Kingdom Hearts series has been going on for a while. So you think with 3, again, being the trilogy from Kingdom Hearts 2, and Kingdom Hearts 3, it would all be wrapped up here. But with that being said, I would like to see if they ever do wrap it up to where Ventus finally becomes his own person again, and that if he's able to dual wield Keyblades, now he should be able to do it, but at the same time he might not be. Like, the reason he should be able to do it is because Roxas can do it, and him and Roxas are the same person. There's that. So all he would be doing is remembering, oh yeah, that's right, I once went by this name, and once upon a time I did that. So he should be able to do it, but then again, they might try to reason the reason Ventus can't dual wield is because he's not a part of Sora anymore, or Sora absorbed the half of Roxas as you know, something crazy. But for the most part, if Ventus ever gets his heart back and becomes a full person and remembers his past life as Roxas, as well as, you know, his past life as Ventus, he should be able to dual wield Keyblades. With that being said, I think it'd be pretty awesome to see Ventus, not Roxas, Ventus dual wield Keyblades. Like, I don't know what the other one would be. Maybe Vanitas's Keyblade. That might be kind of neat. But Ventus should be able to dual wield Keyblades, and being Ventus, he would wield them in reverse grips. I think that'd be pretty awesome, because if you recall the mysterious figure, i.e. the unknown of Birth by Sleep, he also used those ethereal blades in a reverse grip, and you saw how fast, vicious, aggressive, graceful, and just, you know, straight up fatal he was doing all of that. So I would imagine Ventus would be quite similar, just, you know, more with a Ventus feel to it. So I thought that'd be pretty cool to see. But what do you guys think? What would you think if they did a Smash Bros-esque game of Kingdom Hearts? If they did it right, I think it'd be incredibly popular, like just so awesome. Like, there's been some really bad ripoffs, like the Kung Fu Panda one. That one was exceptionally bad. I never played it, but I've seen it, and it is really bad ripoff. One that is better, but not as good as, you know, the Smash Bros. Series is PlayStation All-Stars. That one is better than the Kung Fu Panda, but again, not as good as Smash Bros. But it is very Smash Bros.-esque. What do you think? What would you think of a Kingdom Hearts Smash Bros.-esque game? If they could do it right, I believe it'd be incredibly popular. I think it'd be very cool. Or if Ventus does come back, will he be able to dual wield his Keyblades, and will they be in reverse grip? I say yes, but only time will really tell. So I think this video went pretty well, aside from me slipping over my words and just straight up forgetting things because I'm too distracted. So before I mess it up completely, just give me a moment of silence to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I don't know, man. I really feel like I'm forgetting something. It's probably going to bite me later. But with that being said, thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you around.